American South. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe!
Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. What we have today is something that I know I am really behind on taking a look at. This is Stalker from the HASBRO G.I. Joe Classified series, and I know Stalker came out a while ago. I just haven't had a chance to open him up, take a look at him, and I definitely wanted to do this on camera, not just, something that I'm opening on my own, because it's Stalker. And this is the 6-inch incarnation of what was my favorite figure from the vintage line. The original Stalker that came out, he was the favorite of both me and my brother. As a matter of fact, whenever we would play G.I. Joe, when we would divvy up the action figures, there was always the argument of who got to be Stalker. And I mean, yeah, we liked Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes was kind of everybody's favorite, but Stalker was our favorite. So, Snake Eyes was the consolation prize. Whoever didn't get Stalker got Snake Eyes. And when he came out in the 6-inch scale in the Classified series, oh man, was I excited about him. And I just haven't had a chance to take a look at him yet, haven't had a chance to, dedicate any time to him. But today, we are definitely going to be taking a look at him. This is our boy. And man, even through the box, he looks great. I love the artwork that they have down here on the side. I love that he has his vintage classic camo pattern look to him. On the side, we have some more great artwork. On the back, we have the standard backing for this wave of figures. On the side, we have his file card, which I'll be honest, I've never bothered looking up any of these. I'm not a big fan of these symbols and everything, so I really don't know what those mean. I just know we got our boy Stalker in here. But also what we have is the Gridiron Studios Ghillie suit. And I know a few months ago, I was talking about Valaverse, that they were coming out with a Ghillie suit. And as a matter of fact, I think Valaverse just sort of showcased it at Joe Fest, I believe. I don't think it's up for orders yet. But when I saw Gridiron's Ghillie suit, I really wanted to take a look at this. And it looked really interesting to me. It looked really good to me. I might like it more than what Valaverse has coming out. I'm not entirely sure yet, but we're also going to be taking a look at this along with our Ranger over here. So we'll look at this later. I'll put chapters in the episode so you can jump to wherever you want to. But for starters right now, let's get this open and let's take a look at HASBRO G.I. Joe Classified Series Sergeant Stalker. All right, here he is, Stalker, out of the box, and putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he is 6 1/4 inches to the top of his sweet, sweet fade. Before we look at anything else, I just got to say, look at this face sculpt. Look at this face sculpt. This is fantastic. This is the look of a man that's not going to take anything from Cobra. This is the look of the man that you want to lead the charge on the field of battle. This is the look of a man that is going to get your team home. This is Stalker. This is a fantastic look for Stalker. I love this somewhat neutral but still somewhat gruff looking expression. I love the high tight fade. The only thing I'm not a real fan of is this scar that's running along the side of his head right here. One, I never pictured Stalker having a scar right there, even though he is a Vietnam veteran. I just never pictured him getting something there. Also, I know it's supposed to be a scar, but it may just be me. It looks more like an imperfection in the mold than anything else. And I checked to make sure it wasn't just mine. Actually, between opening him and this part of the video, I went back and I looked at other videos of Stalker just to make sure that this wasn't just something that was on mine. But nope, they all have it. But they wanted to give him a scar. He got a scar. I'm fine with that. This right here is what counts. This is a great, great look for Stalker. So unique for him as well. I just love it. And the fact, I know it's outdated. I know they don't wear camo like this anymore. And maybe eventually we'll get an updated version of Stalker that has the new, what is it, like a digital print camo. But I love that they gave him the old school camo pattern look. I know it's outdated. I know they don't use it. But for the first figure for Stalker, I just couldn't see them doing anything else. And I love this web gear that he has. That he has like this smoke canister right here. He has pouches right here. He has a dagger down here on his web gear. His the belt, everything, like, this all looks great. This was part of the original figure too. They all had sort of like that harness and that web gear going on. And I love that his is just like a back to basics look, just like the camo pattern. The boots, I'm sure we've seen the boots before. They've used the boots before, but once again, they're colored green more than brown to go with the rest of the camo here. He has gloves on his hands. You can see the quilted wristbands. You can see the quilted neck lining right here, like the elastic. Dagger, a sheath for his dagger, holster for his sidearm, and the silencer. It's very basic, but, like, I don't even want to say basic. It's just so quintessentially Stalker. Like, I couldn't imagine getting the first figure any other way. I'm sure eventually we will get an updated version. Who knows? Maybe with all of the Arctic figures that they're releasing, they'll eventually release the second version of Stalker, which was him in Arctic gear with like a kayak, I think. It was odd. It was cool, but it was odd. But now let's take a look at our articulation. That Stalker's head will do a complete 360 spin. He gets some decent tilt out of it from side to side. He can look up real well. He can look down real well. Well, he can kind of look down. You can see that the neck is hinged as well as the head right there, so you get some extra play in that. And we have a dumbbell joint. Arms will do a complete 360 spin. This is very soft. It gets out of the way. He has a butterfly joint. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows with some really great travel. Wrists pivot. Wrists hinge in and out. Now this one hinges in and out. His weapon wielding hand, though, hinges up and down, which I really appreciate for him. You move the web gear, you can see that he has the ab crunch right in here. He can crunch forward real well. He can crunch back real well. The web gear gets a little loose on him. You might have to rearrange it when you pose him. He does have a ball joint down here at the waist that even with the web gearing on, he can do a complete 360. He has a little bit of, well, not really a whole lot from side to side, but the ball joint can aid a little bit with going forward and backwards. It's a tight fit at the waist. Let's get this stuff resituated. Legs. Drop down legs. So they'll come up to 90. They'll go back. They'll come out to the side almost to 90. Thigh cut. Double jointed knees, once again with some really good travel to them. Boot cut. Ankles rock back. Ankles are rock forward. Forward facing pin for some rocker. Now you see we also have the standard tread pattern on the boots down here. And just the look of him, like, I don't know if we've had these legs in anything before, but I like the texturing to them. So that he's like not completely smooth. Like up here, his sweater is smooth right here in the chest. But you can see that the arms have some texturing to them. Have a pouch right there at his bicep. Have another one right here, over here. The chest is really the only thing that's smooth. His fatigue pants have that texturing to them. He just looks really good. And wait till you see this. He comes with a lot of accessories. When we were looking at sculpt, paint, and articulation, you may have noticed that there was something missing from him, and that was his green beret. And it is an accessory that comes off right here. It is not just a remake of Beachheads. This one is unique to him. And it fits just so perfectly on his head. And if that's what you thought was missing from Stalker, tell me that's not a complete figure right there. That is not a complete look for him right there. All of this is fantastic. The coloring of the greens, the green matching the web gear, the shirt and pants being a little bit lighter green than that. You have the extra dark green for the camo pattern in there. All of the paint apps are just so on. The look is just so on. Like, this is great. Oh, look at our guy. Look at our guy right here. This is fantastic. Something else that he comes with that is new to this version, which we've seen this with some of the Snake Eyes, is this sort of like serape, this sort of wrap right here. I don't know why they added this in. I mean, it's cool, but I'm not sure where they were coming from, other than maybe they just wanted something just to add to Stalker, to give him a little bit of an updated look. Now, you can't put this on over the head. You have to actually pop the head off, and then it just lays over the web gear and over his shoulders. And there you go. And it's cool. I mean, it gives him a new look. It's definitely an updated look. It definitely gives him something a little bit different, rather than having that old school classic look to him. And I could see him wearing something like this. As a matter of fact, in the comics, he might have worn something like this at some point. But I really like this look because, once again, you can see that this has some really good texturing to it right here in the main body of it. Even right here in the tassels, how the tassels aren't all like perfectly symmetrical. They do look windblown. They do look like they've been through the jungle a few times. And you can see that, well, once we line this up, that the way that it sits, those tassels will go right around the peg hole and back so that you don't catch any of them and push them in. And that just looks really cool as well. Now, why does he have a peg hole and back? Because he also comes with this. This is a rifle case that you can peg into his back, and the rifle case is for this. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a unique weapon to G.I. Joe. This is a classic rendition of... Fit the clip in there? This is a classic rendition of the vintage weapon that the figure came with, that his first figure came with. And I don't think this is real. Maybe it is. If it is, somebody please tell me. I remember when I was a kid thinking that this was supposed to be some sort of like, something like an M16. But when you put it in his hand, and I don't know if they downsized it for being classified, but when you put it in his hand, it really is more of like a submachine gun with just like a wrist stock or something like that. This is the only complaint I have with the figure. The hands... The fingers seem a little short, that the hands don't really give you a great grip on his gear. It seems like the fingers should have been a little bit longer. Like, you can finagle it, you can get it in there, but you're going to work for it, and it's probably going to pop out a few times. But somebody let me know. See that, how it's sort of like pivoting out of his hand right there? Ugh. You really got to work it down in there, and then try to get that trigger finger in like that. But somebody let me know if this is real. I don't think it is. I could be wrong, though. I've been wrong about these things before. I am not an encyclopedia of military weapons, but it definitely looks like it's more of like a submachine gun than a full-on machine gun. Let me know. But as I was saying, you can take this out. You can pop the clip out. Oh, and it is bored out for blast effects right there. And then this fits into the... Whoops. This fits into the rifle case. And then you take this clip. And then you take this clip. And you can just slide it down into the side pouch there. And then this just goes right on his back. Like so. And that looks really cool. I like that they didn't just like give him a backpack. He didn't just sling it. He actually has a rifle case that he carries it in on his back. I thought that was really cool too. Before we get to his main weapon, because that's actually not his main weapon, let's take a look at some of his other smaller accessories, his smaller weapons. And he has this buck knife right here. And what I really like about this is something that I was complaining about with the Joe knives before. This is painted silver while the handle is still black. That's cool. Originally, we would be getting these and like the daggers and everything would be all one color. I like that this has a silver blade. It has a really nice shine to it as well. A nice textured look to it. And that can just fit, because the handle is so chunky, he actually holds the knife really well. And then that goes in this side sheath right here, like so. And then he has Colt 1911. I have no doubt that's what this is, with an extended clip. Because if Stalker's going to be old school, and he's going to be, you know, this version of Stalker, his sidearm is going to be a 1911. That looks so cool. That looks so cool. He also comes with the silencer here. Obviously, the barrel is bored out for blast effects, but so is the silencer. And that fits on like so. Whoop. Like so. And once again, you just put it in his hand, twist the fingers, once again, just a little too short. But then once you get the trigger finger in there, he has a real good, it looks real good on him. Oh, I didn't get the trigger finger in. Almost perfect. The figure is almost perfect. It's just the hands. There we go. There we go. He has a real nice, he looks real good with that. And then this will break down. Pistol goes in the holster. And then the silencer, like Snake Eyes, goes right here. So far, like all of the Joes, he can just kit all of his gear and put it on him. And that looks really, really cool. Now, the final thing that he comes with is this. And once again, I am not entirely sure if this is real or if they made this up. I mean, this is definitely a saw. I have no doubt in my mind that this is a saw. This magazine even pops off so you can see what it looks like, just like that. Like, it's too short. I feel it's too short barrel to be an M30, but I don't know what else this would be. You could just that just pegs right in there, and then you make sure the rounds are going into the side chamber, and he's ready to rock. That looks really cool. That looks real cool. Or not an M30, an M60, I'm sorry. It's too short to be an M60. And I know they carried an M60, him, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow. I think Snake Eyes carried the M60 in Nam. And then that also fits in his hand as well. It has a short stock, or it has a short grip on it, so it actually fits in his hand a little bit better than his classic rifle does. But yeah, he has that. Like I said, I'm guessing this is a saw of some kind. I just don't know what kind. But there's our boy Stalker. All of his gear. He comes with a lot. I mean, all the Joes come with a lot of gear, but like he just seems to really come with some good stuff. Maybe it's just because it's all a little bit different than what we normally get. Like you have this wrap, you have the rifle case in back, all of the weaponry that he carries, and he just looks so good. He just looks so good. Look at that dude. He's out on the hunt. Now, I know this is probably what most of you have been waiting for, the Ghillie suit. This is from Gridiron Studios, so let's open this up and we'll see what we get. Just like when we had the weapons pack for Scarlet, it just comes in a mailer box, wrapped in some bubble wrap. We have the Gridiron Studios business card, along with the bonus piece that comes with it, a little firearm. So let's just open that up right now, and we can take a look at that. See, that's their business card, logo and everything on the front. A little bit more on the back. Oh, it flips. I think I missed that from the last one. But there we go. I will put a link to them in the description below if you've never been there. They have some really good accessory packs, some really good accessories for 6-inch figures. Not just G.I. Joe, but it would work with Valaverse. They have some stuff for Star Wars Black Series as well. There's our bonus piece. What is that? Oh, that's a Desert Eagle. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that. That's real cool. Thank you, Gridiron Studios. Now, let's get this open. I'm really excited about this. Depending on how this comes out, I might get more of these. I think they're going to be releasing more. Like, they talked about doing more with this. Like, what we have right now is just like the forest suit. But they were talking about doing other things, which I can only assume they would have, like an Arctic suit, maybe a desert suit somewhere. So this looks really cool. The way he explained it in the video I was watching, this is obviously, this is obviously like a hood that goes up over the character's back. You can see that it's built around a backpack with the peg hole in it. You also see that we have this walkie-talkie holster right here on the side that, according to, it's shedding. According to what he said, yep, there's a field radio right there. So let's cut this open. This rifle is also really cool. I'm excited to take a look at that as well. So let's cut this open. Oh man, it even smells like the wood. Oh, cut. Come on. I'm trying to cut this without cutting my finger. There we go. It even smells like the wood. Like there is a woody scent to this ghillie suit, which I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but it has a real good smell to it. Look at that. Gridiron Studios 112 Armory bookmark. Great. All right. So let's get out the accessories that comes with. Let's take a look at these. Oh, that is a cool field radio. That is a real cool field radio. Flexible antenna, so it's not going to snap. Look at the detail on that. The blue screen. That is really cool. That's much better than what I was expecting. Oh, and it has the gridiron skull on the back, too. Man, this is cool. This is really good. And then this fits right. Oh, look at that. Fits right in there. That looks great. Pull some of the ghillie out around the... let's take that out for now. Let's just take that out for now. Set that aside. I don't know if you can see that, but it is shedding. It's leaving a little bit of a mess, so it might take a while for this thing to finish shedding. But there are armholes in here too. You can see how the netting comes around, and these form sleeves for the figure to wear the suit on him. There's some heavy string right here. There's lighter strands down in here. I'm really curious to see something like this in white for the Arctic troopers, because like Snow Job would definitely need one of these once we get him, because I think he comes with a sniper rifle. One of these in like a desert camo pattern would look cool. Maybe something fall, autumn. Like, basically, I just want them to come out with every color they can think of. This looks really good. This looks really cool. Strands are a little wild, but you can lay them. But that's okay, because, like, this, from my understanding, in the military especially, like, the snipers make their own suits. So no two will ever look the same. Now, before we get on with that, let's also take a look at this sniper rifle. The cartridge comes out. The magazine comes out, which is very cool. And they said this weapon is available for some of their other packs. I think you can actually just buy this weapon outright as well. You can see right there, it is bored out for blast effects, which is really cool. And I like, oh, that would be cool, because whenever you have the open barrel right there, whenever you push the blast effect in there, like that translucent red peg will be in there too. Like it really is erupting from the barrel. That's going to look awesome. But this paint job on here is unique to the ghillie suit, this camo paint job on this rifle. All right, so let's bring Stalker in. We're going to have to, like, strip him down a little. We have to take off his beret, pop his head off so we can take that off. And I don't know if it's going to work with the web gear on him. I really hope it does, but I'm not entirely sure if it will work. Now, when I was watching the video for this, they said to pop your figure's hands off too, so that you can get them into the sleeves without any issue. So we pop the hands off. This is the first time doing it, so bear with me. And line that up. Let's get the peg lined up with the peg hole. Oh, look at that. That fits right in there. Oh, this is going to work with the web gear on. Oh, that's awesome. And then we take the sleeves. Let's see if we can do this. Don't rip it, Mac. Don't rip it. Let's try this. Let's take this off. And let's try putting the sleeves through first. Oh, there we go. There we go. We might be onto something here. It's a little rough. They're a little... You know what? Give me a second. Let me do this behind the camera. Okay, so after some finagling, I was able to get it back on. As you can see, it is shedding very badly. But I don't feel like the strands are all going to come out. I feel like there were some loose ones that developed in shipping, in packaging, in whatever. But I feel like what has come out is what's going to come out. You can see it is all over the desk. So just be prepared for a bit of a mess when you first open this thing up. Also, don't be afraid to move these sleeves because they are very tight, but they're also not the same length. Like you can see the one on the left, his left, not yours. You can see the one, his left. You can see the one on the left rides higher on the arm than the one on the right does. I think these are like hand stitched, so each one is going to be a little bit different. But luckily, Stalker is wearing all camo, so a little bit of uniform showing isn't going to make that big of a deal. Like you see, this one right here comes down to about the wrist. This one comes up to just under the elbow. Okay, he does look cool in it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, he does look good. I like how it has all this mass to it. One thing that I was kind of disappointed about was this. The hood doesn't really have a top to it. It's just this open band. Like, this is just an open band right here that I thought was the top of the hood. It's just like sort of an elastic band, and then like all of the string that makes up the ghillie suit is just pulled back, so you really can't have any hanging down in front of his face because that'll leave the top of his head exposed, which I don't know if that's a big deal to you or not, but I was kind of hoping that there would have been something a little bit more in there, like some material under the hood that this laid across or something like that. When you put it on, or at least when I put it on, I did feel like I had to be a little delicate with it. I felt like the sleeves were going to rip. I felt like some of these strands were going to come out. And as you saw, some strands did come out. And the sleeves do have to rip, but they just have to rip a little bit to get... man, I think that is ripping already. Is it? No, that's about what I had to do. It's kind of like on a pair of pants when you got to rip the pocket to get it open. It's kind of the same thing with this. I had to like rip the wrists open to be able to get the arms through so that it didn't hang up. Because if I didn't rip them, I wasn't able to extend the arms. They had to be bent in like this because of how short the material is. So I do think it looks cool. I'm still interested to see what Valaverse comes up with. I think aesthetically already I know I'm going to like this one better, just the look of it. Because even when you turn it over on the back, I think I'm just going to like the look of this better. But I feel like with what Valaverse has going on, at least what we've seen in pictures, their setup, the way that it connects, might be a little bit better than this. I don't know. I'm going to get both. I'm going to do a comparison before I get anything else. Now, one thing is that his field radio is actually in. You really can't see the antenna. There's the tip of it right there. And his field radio does fit. Right there. So that's cool that you do have that accessory that it can come with. Now we get to this, the rifle. And you may notice something different about it than when I first showed it to you, mainly being this crease right here. When I tried to twist this to put this into his hand, I thought this was one solid piece, But then when it was hitting his finger, the trigger pushed up, and this actually comes apart in two pieces. And that's kind of a bummer. I thought this was going to be one solid piece, because once it comes apart, and you have to put that in that peg hole right there, it's very flexible, it's very soft plastic, and then you kind of got to work it back together. That no matter how much I push on this, you still have that broken seam now. So you can sort of see through it. That's disappointing. I was really hoping this was just going to be, I really thought this was just one piece, except for the magazine coming out. Now, with Stalker, we run into the problem that, like I said, when he was holding the weapons that he does come with, his fingers are just too short. He doesn't get a good grip. So when you try and push this in, like, you can't really get it behind his fingers very well. You have to kind of stretch his hand out, make sure his thumb wraps around the stock. And there you go. He has a fairly decent grip on it. But you can see what I mean. Like, the trigger guard is pushing in. It kind of fights you when you try to put it in his hand. And the trigger guard is very bendable. So there you go. So that looks cool. Like, I do like the look of it. And I'm hoping that this was their first attempt at the Ghillie suit. I'm pretty sure this came out during Joe Fest. And he said, the guy in the video, I can't remember his name, I think he's basically the owner of the company, he said that they were going to be doing a lot of work with these. I'm hoping that they can get some of the improvements down, because aesthetically speaking, let's just take that out of his hand. Aesthetically speaking, I do like the look of this suit. It does look like a forced suit. I do think this looks better, at least from photos that we've seen so far. I think this looks better than the Valaverse Ghillie suit. I just wish it functioned a little bit better. And like I said, this is kind of a disappointment. I know part of the problem is that his hands just can't hold it, but it's splitting apart into two. Ugh. And now for size comparisons. Here he is beside Hasbro G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Origins movie Scarlet and Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Snake Eyes. Here he is beside McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Superman from Action Comics 1000 and the Flash movie Batman. Here he is beside Lanyard Toys City Hunter Predator and Xenomorph Drone. Here he is beside Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse 40th Anniversary He-Man and Masters of the Universe movie Skeletor. Here he is beside Jazzwares Spartan Collection Master Chief and Noble Six. And finally, here he is beside NECA Toys Dungeons & Dragons Warduke and Grimsword. So what can I say? This, like a lot of the G.I. Joe classified figures, I was predestined to like this one. Not just like this one, but love this one. It's Stalker. It's my man, my hero, my champion. It's my #1 figure from when I was a kid. It's Stalker. Of course I was going to love it. That's not to say there aren't things to critique of this figure. First of all, like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't like that scar running down the side of his head. I don't think it looks good. I don't think it looks like a scar. I think it looks like an imperfection in the mold, and maybe they tried to play it off as a scar. I don't know. I think it should have just been like a non-disrupted fade. It should have just been his hair, no scar needed. The other issue is the hands. His fingers are too small. They're not long enough. They're too short. He can't get a decent grip on the weapons that he comes with, and it makes it even harder to get a decent grip on any accessory weapons that you would want to put in his hands, like the sniper rifle that came with the Ghillie suit. Now, before I go on about Stalker, let's talk about the Ghillie suit. That the Ghillie suit sheds. It sheds a lot. When I was taking it off and on Stalker, when I was taking it off and on that Cobra Infantry, it kept shedding. So if you get this, odds are it's going to be something that you're going to put on your figure, and you're going to pose it on the shelf like that. You're not going to want to be taking it off and on. I do think the ghillie suit is cool. I think it looks good. I think it has a good look to it. It has some really great texture to it. I'm still holding off on, or holding out for Valaverse's ghillie suit to see what that finished product is like. I'll probably get one of those, and then I'll do a comparison of the two. Right now, just from the photos, I think I like the Gridiron Studios ghillie suit better, but hey, we'll have to wait and see. The only real disappointment I had with the ghillie suit was the rifle that came with it, that it comes in two pieces. And yes, I know some Gorilla Glue will take care of that. I'll be able to like hold it together, but I really wish that would have just been one solid piece. Now back to Stalker. Some people may be put off that he looks almost exactly like his vintage figure. There is virtually no update to this figure at all, except for the gear, for having the saw. Like I said, I think it's a saw, for having the saw, for having the 1911, the suppressed 1911, having the rifle case on his back. Most of, if not all of the differences of this figure from the vintage one is just in the accessories. I get that some people may not like it because of how much it looks like the old figure. But honestly, that's one reason why I love it. And that's another reason why I think we're probably going to get another Stalker down the line. We're probably going to get either an updated version of Stalker, maybe Night Force, maybe Tiger Force. Maybe we'll get the Arctic Ranger Stalker that we talked about before. Who knows? That would actually be kind of cool. Get the kayak with him. That'd be kind of cool. I love the figure. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to buy it. If you haven't bought it already, everybody should have a Stalker. Let me rephrase that. If you haven't bought it already, everybody should buy a G.I. Joe Classified Sergeant Stalker figure. There we go. I really dig the way that the beret fits on him. I feel like his beret fits him a lot better than Beachhead's does, and it looks a lot better than Beachhead's does. I know this is an older figure. I know most people have probably seen this figure already, but I really just wanted to open him up, share him with you before all of the new stuff starts coming in, all of the pre-orders from this month in Yojo June. And I have a lot of other G.I. Joes that I'm going to be popping open, probably older figures, probably ones that you've seen already, but I do want to get through the collection because it's G.I. Joe, and as you all know, I love me some G.I. Joe. So yo Joe. Play well, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.